We begin tonight with a family's call for justice after their loved one was killed after being struck by a car last week. Family has identified him to 12 News as 21-year-old Christian Lopez, and he was hit while he was walking on the sidewalk. Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us for 12 News at 10. I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. Police still have not been able to make an arrest in this case. 12 News journalist Bianca Bono spoke with the Lopez family tonight. She's in the newsroom with more. Bianca?
Yeah, Lopez's relatives tell me not only are they dealing with grief, they don't have answers because the person who hit him fled the scene. Now they're working to find those answers themselves.
At 12/19/30 is when he was struck.
Surveillance footage obtained by Christian Lopez's family shows the moment he was hit by a car.
He holds a big place in my heart.
Early Friday morning, around 12:20 a.m., the 21-year-old man was walking home on Grand Avenue near 24th Avenue when police say a driver left the roadway and hit him on the sidewalk. That driver fled the scene.
It's a person, why wouldn't you stop or even call to, notify the police?
Lopez's aunt and cousin, who didn't want to appear on camera, say it took around 40 minutes for someone to call 911 and for first responders to find him. He was pronounced dead at the hospital.
It's just really hard because, during those 40 minutes, was he able to move? Was he trying to move? That's what does go through our head as well. Like, what was going through his mind during that time?
Lopez leaves behind a big family, including 3 brothers and a single mom. And his loved ones say he was working to help support them.
He was very loving. He was always really positive. He always tried to maintain a smile on his face, no matter what he was going through. He always had everybody laughing.
Now, as his family is left planning his funeral, they've returned to the scene where tire marks are a painful reminder of what happened, asking nearby businesses for surveillance footage, trying to figure out who's responsible, an answer they say they need in order to heal.
Knowing how caring he was, and just seeing that vehicle just drive away like nothing, just kept going.
And in the video, it appears the vehicle involved is a dark-colored SUV. We have asked Phoenix police if they know the specific make and model, but so far we have not heard back. If you have any information about this crash, contact Phoenix police. We're live in the newsroom tonight. Bianca Bono, 12 News.
All right, Bianca, thank you. Scottsdale police have arrested 7 people they say were involved in a string of home robberies across the western U.S. This weekend, officers served a search warrant at this short-term rental near Camelback and Miller Roads. They were able to recover some of the stolen items and arrest the suspects. Detectives say that the group is from Colombia and is suspected in robberies in California, Oregon, and Washington. The suspects range in age from 23 years old to 38. They're now each being held on a $150,000 bond. Phoenix police have identified the suspect who was shot by an officer after allegedly reaching for that officer's gun during a traffic stop. The incident shut down Cactus Road from 24th Street to 30th Street for several hours yesterday afternoon. Phoenix police say that the officer attempted to pull over 46-year-old Sam Perrone for a traffic violation when Perrone got out of his car and started arguing with the officer. Witnesses say that Perrone slapped the officer across the face before reaching for their gun. That's when the officer shot Perrone. He was released from the hospital this afternoon and is now facing a felony charge of aggravated assault on a police officer.
Tonight, as Memorial Day comes to a close, all of us here at 12 News feel indebted to the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Governor Hobbs paid tribute to military service members, veterans, and their families at the Arizona National Memorial Cemetery. Today's ceremony included wreath presentations, a color guard, the playing of taps, and music from the Army National Guard Band. The cemetery is a final resting place for veterans, their spouses, and their children. In the West Valley, the city of Avondale also hosted a Memorial Day ceremony with crowds gathering at the Avondale Civic Center Amphitheater. The event was organized in partnership with the local VFW and American Legion posts. It featured a musical tribute along with a flag ceremony that was dedicated to fallen service members.
Meanwhile, Lake Pleasant was jam-packed today as people flocked to end their long weekend with some fun in the sun. Our crew caught up with several people who showed up early this morning to get a nice spot by the water. And while everyone was happy to be enjoying themselves, people also kept in mind the true meaning behind Memorial Day.
Well, there's a lot of families out there, sharing this day to really think about the people that didn't make it back home. Really be grateful for the family you have and the time that you have with them.
Over the last year, more than 1 million people have visited Lake Pleasant, making it the most visited park in Maricopa County.
All right, time to talk some weather with meteorologist Lindsay Riley. Linz, lots of sunshine for Memorial Day. What about the rest of the week?
Well, we'll see a fair amount tomorrow. Temperatures, at least for the next couple of days, will remain right around 100 degrees, so a couple degrees above average. They will start to get a bit hotter by Friday. That'll be the hottest day of the week, peaking at 106. It's not a record for the day, but it is above average. So you can see for the next 5 days into the weekend, daily highs are going to be in the triple digits. Now, there will be a pattern shift late in the weekend and early next week when our highs will go back to double digits once again. Out the door tomorrow morning, just a mix of sun and clouds. The radar will be clear, but by about 1 to 2 p.m. up in the high country, Flagstaff area, as well as the Grand Canyon, White Mountains, there will be a couple pop-up thunderstorms for tomorrow afternoon. We're talking about 10 to possibly 20% coverage, so not everyone's going to see the storms tomorrow. They'll be pretty few and far between for the high country only. Lower deserts can expect a completely dry day, and those storms will die down after sunset. Not a windy day tomorrow either, which will help lower that fire risk. Up in the mountains, those gusts staying under 20 miles per hour. Same thing with the valley. And then we're talking that pattern shift with rising rain chances later in the week. My full forecast minutes away. Mark?
Linz, thanks. Tonight we continue to track the Corral Fire, which is broken out southeast of Flagstaff. The fire sparked this morning and is burning east of Mormon Lake. Officials are telling us it has now burned 233 acres. We're told smoke will be visible as crews work to contain the fire before it continues to grow.
It was a busy day out at Salt River with people staying cool from the heat by either tubing, paddle boarding, or just hanging out in the water. Of course, everyone that we spoke with said that they saw the famous wild horses, but that could soon change. As 12 News journalist Chase Golightly found out, officials want to reduce the herd, and the group that manages these horses say that they may lose their jobs because of it.
It's a snapshot of the American West.
These horses are literally world famous and cherished everywhere.
Wild horses roaming free near the Salt River. There's about 280, according to Simone Netherlands. She's the founder and president of Salt River Wild Horse Management Group. Since 2018, when they were contracted by the state, they've taken care of them, feeding them when needed, and reducing their population through fertility control, saying they've gone from 100 foals being born a year to just 2.
Had we not started that in 2018, today we would have over 1,000 Salt River wild horses.
Without ever removing the horses. But now she says the state wants to change that. Their contract is about to expire, and the new guideline set by the Arizona Department of Agriculture is calling for the population to be reduced to be between 100 to 200 wild horses. And for every new foal born, 3 horses will be removed.
We're very upset at the moment.
A proposition Netherlands is very much against, believing they won't get rehired by the state because of their position.
It would be devastating.
Her biggest concern.
We feel like they want to reduce the herd all the way down to 100 horses. And if that should happen, then they are bound for extinction.
But those against how these wild horses are currently being managed says there needs to be more transparency and accountability in this process.
And we just think there's a better way to do it. Positive, working together.
Dr. John Mack is the spokesperson for the Wild Horse Transition Team. He says the recommendations by the Department of Agriculture need to be taken seriously. He's also concerned for the future of these wild horses.
Then 20 years from now, there's going to be nothing there for the horses to eat.
He says even with 20,000 acres, the horses have damaged the natural vegetation, hurting them and other wildlife.
You save the horses by saving the land.
And by feeding these horses by hand to help them survive.
Then at some point, they're no longer free-roaming horses.
Not wanting any to be removed, but says they may not have that option.
And we have to sometimes make hard decisions because that's what it means to be adults.
At the end of the day, both groups want these horses to thrive. But how that's going to happen, only time will tell.
We want these Salt River wild horses to still be here for future generations of Arizona.
In the East Valley, Chase Golightly, 12 News.
All right, Chase, thank you.